The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a 6-episode Disney Plus show that feels like it was written by a Twitter bot. Don't get me wrong, I think this show had a lot of production value and bright colors. Marvel clearly isn't afraid to dump money into these TV productions, and it certainly shows in a lot of the action scenes, but the writing. Now, this isn't really a review of the series or even a critique of all the writing that went on. I'm not here to point out plot holes or pacing errors. What I really want to talk about is the character of Sam Wilson and this show's abysmal attempt at being race conscious. Now, it's no secret that Marvel loves themselves a black best friend, or just any person of color for the white hero to stand next to. In fact, in this show, even the side characters get to have black best friends and racially ambiguous girlfriends. And despite the fact that Sam was created from this stereotype, I was genuinely excited to see his character fleshed out and be the next great black lead in the Marvel Universe. But that is not what happened. When we start the show, Sam has turned down the role of Captain America and he's having a grand old time being a freelance Avenger. Then boom, he's just another black man in poverty. Denying a black Avenger alone at the bank in 2021 feels on the nose regardless of how your universe is set up. And the show just follows this theme episode after episode of painting Sam as a victim of racism. He gets racially profiled by some cops, microaggressed by his coworkers. The new Captain America doesn't trust him, which prevents him from helping out Carly. These scenes are just perpetuating the idea that black people are helpless. Sam even calls himself helpless in his final speech at the end of the series. Sam's character has almost no agency throughout the entire show. Nothing he does matters. His struggle isn't actually against Carly. He knows what she's doing and is perfectly poised to stop her. The only thing getting in his way is racism. The shield he gave up goes to a white guy. His family can't be taken care of because the bank won't give him a loan. People won't listen to him because he's black. He just wants to help people, but the world he's living in is so racist he can't even do that, which is so infantilizing and insulting, especially to your main character. And even if you don't agree that these scenes are super infantilizing to black people, you can't deny that the script comes to a grinding halt every time the show tries to do a racism. Like the minute I saw that cop approach Sam, my eyes rolled into the back of my head.
We're fine. Did I see your ID?
I don't have ID.
Man,
why?
Just sir, just calm down.
I am calm. What do you want? We're just standing here
Just
talking.
give him your ID.
The scene isn't even about anything. It's just saying that you can be an Avenger, but if you're black, you're still just a victim of racism. Can you imagine if a young black kid watched this scene and saw one of the few black heroes on television or in film right now getting stopped by the police? This essentially says, sorry, no matter what you do, white people will still have power over you and can control your life. Now, I'm not saying this couldn't happen, of course it could, but the entire purpose of this scene is to paint Sam as a victim. It doesn't serve any other purpose. It's a cheap ploy to keep up with the times. And it doesn't even try to be subtle, because this show isn't made for black people. They need to have the most obvious, loud, obnoxious forms of racism they can think of or to go over their audience's heads. Sam's entire character is just reduced to a vehicle to get to these scenes. He is a vessel for putting white guilt on display. He has solo scenes, but they're never about him. They're just about what is being done to him. He is not a character with agency. He is Bella from Twilight. In contrast, let's look at a scene from Black Panther. Now, this is really the only scene in the entire film where you actually see a white person do or say something racist to a black person, and it's very easy to miss if you haven't experienced something like this yourself.
How do you think your ancestors got these? You think they paid a fair price? Or did they take it like they took everything else?
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
You got all this security in here watching me ever since I walked in, but you ain't checking for what you put in your body.
In this scene, Killmonger gets racially profiled by the museum curator. It looks like he's going to be arrested until we realize this is all part of his plan. He's completely in control of the situation and manages to pull off an elaborate heist. In the beginning, he is a victim, but he comes out of the scene victorious, which, as a black person, is pretty fun to watch. I'm not saying there is no place for stories to be told that include some black suffering, and it is important to recognize that the dazzling world of Wakanda we see on screen is not in fact real. But the scene of police profiling Falcon is not aimed at black people at all. We already know this could happen to Falcon. The reminder of it is simply for the white audience to shake their heads in disbelief. And this is kind of a trend I'm seeing more and more. Like, many white writers, whether consciously or unconsciously, will write black characters so that they are defined by suffering. And for most white audiences, they feel most comfortable with a black character when they are suffering, not when they're on the same level or above a white person, or God forbid, completely unaffected by white people at all, like the Wakandans. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, referencing police brutality or Tuskegee or segregation is not actually a reference to black history, it's just virtue signaling. The writers want you to know what books on racism they've read in the past year, not that they value or care about black stories. And that brings me to this man, Isaiah, the Black Captain America as the show has dubbed him. Because he's black. He is supposed to, I think, create a moral conundrum for Sam when it comes to taking on the mantle of Captain America. Isaiah has been mistreated by the US government because of his race, and that's all you're going to know about him. That's his character, a sad black man. What is he talking about? Being a sad black man. Where did he come from? Who knows? What did he accomplish in life? Who cares? The show can't even pass the Black Bechdel test. All black people ever talk about with one another is how hard it is to be black, how racist white people are, how poor they are. It's enough. Black people do not wake up thinking about white people every day. Black people do not wake up thinking about how hard it is to be black. We experience racism, yeah, but that does not define us right down to infecting and controlling our relationships with other black people.
They erase me, my history. But they've been doing that for 500 years. They will never let a black man be Captain America.
Do you hear yourself? The last aspect where I think they truly failed Sam is in how they portray the Captain America role in the show. Like, they spend so much time emphasizing how racist the Captain America figurehead is and how they would never let a black man be Captain America, and then a character says that out loud because they think that you are stupid. But at the same time, they treat the role of Captain America like it's the best place Sam could ever be. Everyone's like, why'd you turn down the job? Like, does it ever occur to you that a black man might not want to be a tokenized black soldier in an incredibly racist and historically white role? Sam makes it clear in episode 1 that he does not want to be Captain America, so the fact that he can't because he's black shouldn't mean anything to him. And it certainly shouldn't be the reason he takes on the job, especially after learning about what happened to Isaiah. What the writers don't understand is that American racism gatekeeps majority white spaces. And while that is wrong, it is also wrong to assume that because these spaces are white, black people automatically want access to them. This is perfectly displayed in Sam's ridiculous speech to a random crowd at the end of the series.
You just don't understand. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? Yet I'm still here. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes.
That's not inspiring, it's insulting. It's also just terrible writing. Hello, I am Black Falcon. I live in America. And did you know that America is racist and makes my life horrible and not worth living because I'm going to take on this historically white role that will only expose me to more racism because I want what white people have. Blonde hair, blue eyes, blah, blah, blah. You writers make me sick. Now, there's plenty of other stuff I didn't really dig into in this video that really bugged me. Like, can anyone tell me what this line is supposed to mean?
You're not going to come here in your overextended life and tell me about my rights.
Oh, and remember that sidekick we mentioned earlier? Well, he gets murdered just so that Captain Crack can have a redemption arc. Seriously? You won't give your main character anything but suffering and Netflix dialogue, but the guy who murdered someone on the streets with the Captain America shield gets to be a hero? You created an entire black character just so he could die and motivate the worst character in the entire show? Oh, and let's not forget the greatest scene in the entire series.
I didn't mean to kill your friend. I don't want to hurt people that don't matter.
You don't think Lamar's life mattered?
I watched the finale with my family, and we were on the floor crying from laughter. Because that is the most ridiculous line anyone has ever written in the year of our Lord 2021. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Sorry if you were offended or don't agree. Feel free to leave a comment. It'd be nice to know how people feel about this take, since I haven't really seen many people talking about this aspect of the show. I'll probably stay active on this channel if I can, so the next time a movie or television series pisses me off, you know where to find me. Thanks, bye!
Captures the African American experience.